on the call just now that you're feeling a different stability and everything's shifting and things are easier for you. That's phenomenal.
I can say it again.
You can say it again. All right, please do.
So yeah, I've noticed that, about 10 days with no headache, no neck pain. There's definitely been just a different sensation and awareness with work, everyday life, interactions with just the world. There's I feel I can not distance myself, but just be aware that's okay, that's not mine.
Yeah, you can be the observer instead of carried away with it, which is huge. That's where we want to be. Yeah, we want to be able to walk down the middle of our road and notice the polarity over here and the polarity over there and not get embroiled in it all. Just go, oh, that's interesting. That's how you want to live your life. Enjoy.
You go do that. I know I don't want to be in that party anymore. And then, with just noticing a little bit more instability within the sacrum, and there's no, I'm losing my anchor points, or it's losing its anchor points to the past. I guess it's like, I can't. And it's not even like I can't, but it's I don't want to go back to that pattern anymore.
Mm-hmm. So, I like the way you use the phrase anchor points. I think I'm going to steal that because we have these reference points in our neurology, and they do sometimes anchor us down or sort of get us stuck. And today we're going to be talking about resistance. So that's a nice segue. A couple of you here have taken the Secrets of the Empowered Empath, where we talk about resistance. And resistance is part of being in that polarity. Do I still have I see my elastic band. I'll be right back. When we have a desire and we move towards it, like those anchor points you were talking about, the way you were raised as a kid, or the belief patterns your parents had, or your teachers, whoever installed in you, we get far enough away from it and we always will snap back to it. Okay. I think the first time I talked about it, I called this a problem. It's not necessarily a problem. It's just an old behavior pattern, an old way of thinking. Another way of looking at it is, I want this in my life, but this is my reality right now. So the two of them are sort of colliding and getting stuck in the middle. And it's like, oh, one's trying to push and the other one's trying to push. We go nowhere. Whereas what we want is the energy to loosen up and just dance and move and grow and evolve and be flowy, instead of this resistance point. Resistance is like trying to move forward with the brakes on. Okay, I want to be over there, but right now I'm over here. Well, all we're doing every time we do one of these sessions is figuring out how much tension is in here. Like what's in between? How far do we have to grow? What do we have to let go of to move that to that place? So anytime you feel like you have to, or you must, or you should do something, there's a resistance there. Like if I were to say to you, Mary, don't yawn right now. You shouldn't do that. It's rude. What do? You get tighter and smaller. She runs away. Or Paula, you're smiling too much. You shouldn't do that. we collapse in on her. Okay, girls, I was kidding. Let go. Allow yourself to just get into this place of, like Mary was saying, I'm noticing, oh, that's an interesting point of view, but it's not necessarily true. What else is possible? How do I get to behave? And do I need their approval or don't I? Do I even want their approval? Do I want them to appreciate me? Why are they trying to control me? We just start looking at it from a different perspective, and we start realizing that sometimes this resistance that we're feeling, it's what we do to ourselves. It's actually imagined. I think he will disapprove if I say this. I think they will not like me if I do that. Oh, they must be mad at me. That's why they're not talking to me. I must have offended them, but I can't think. We run these crazy stories, fiction stories in our head, and it messes us up. Okay, so really, if we just look at it, oh, that's an interesting energy. I don't know what it means. I don't have to know what it means. I don't have to give it a story. I can just let it flow. In this place, in this moment in time, I'm feeling there's a heavy something there. Or, wow, these people are always happy. No, I'm not always happy. I got my ups and downs. My mother did some weird, wacky things today and overflowed a toilet 15 minutes ago, and I had to scrub floors and clean carpets and take everything outside. And it was like, today? You had to do this today? And I survived. And look at that. We're here. It's all good. It is all good. But resistance is when we're pushing against what's happening around you right now. And you're letting what's happening around you change your mood. I get to be happy, even though everything overflowed and the stove overflowed and the water softener isn't working. And now I got a leaky. You know what? All that stuff is going to happen. And it's okay. I had a client who phoned me on Sunday, and she must have phoned 7 times. So I finally picked up the phone thinking it was an emergency. And she says, Jessie, you have to check in on me. My roof is leaking all over. And I'm going, why do I have to check out? I said, call a roofer. Get somebody to give you an estimate and get that repaired. No. You have to tell me what's going on with me that my roof would leak. And I really just wanted to say it again. Call a roofer. Sometimes a duck is just a duck. And then I thought, hold on, reel back, get into her world and see what's going on here. And I said, how long have you had this roof? She goes, 15 years. And I said, oh my God, you live in Huntsville. No roof lasts 15 years in Huntsville. She goes, oh, it came with a 25-year guarantee. And I said, the shingles come with a 25-year guarantee. In Barrie, where I live, we change our roofs every 10 years just because we have to. The wood underneath isn't being guaranteed. The shingles are. How are you shingles? She goes, well, they look fine. I go, great, call a roofer. And she's like, oh, but Jessie, what am I doing wrong? And it's like, you're not doing anything wrong. And then I stopped and I said, how long have we worked together? And she goes, oh, I don't know, 6, 7 years. And I said, in those 6 and 7 years, what have we accomplished together? She goes, well, I got out of a bad marriage. I got myself a great job. My kids are talking to me again. I don't have a prolapsed uterus anymore. And she started listing off all the wonderful things, how she's evolved, how she's grown, how her attitude has changed. And I said, okay, you know what? Your roof needs replacing because we've done all the change in you and your roof is a reflection of you. You need a new roof. And then I just thought I'd throw a wrench in the works and said, how long have you had your car? Because our car is an extension of us too. I always look at every time something in my environment needs repair, there's something in me that needs a little bit of a tune-up too. And if we can keep our energy field going, everything is great. Mary, are you still commuting between Guelph and Barrie? Wow. And
Well, I stay at my mom's when I'm up
Okay.
here.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. Oh, and then traveling with horses.
All right. Husband in one city, you in another city. Interesting.
It's awesome.
Are you going to love today's exercise then? All right. Another time we notice that we're getting resistance to something is when you go, I don't know. I don't know why this is happening, because you're in your head instead of in your heart and in your body. You're not in your body. Your head is trying to look for a reason for something, and it goes through the old filing cabinets looking for a reason. And if you haven't encountered it before, I don't know. But we're not looking either. Hand on heart, hand on belly, ladies. Let's get into position here. Inhale and exhale. Laura, you got your hair cut. Hey, and straightened. Nice. Inhale and exhale. Breathing in and breathing out. Let your feet be flat on the floor if that's comfortable for you, or sit however you want. When we hear ourselves say, I don't know, substitute the word I won't in the same place, or substitute, don't tell me what to do. And see if the energy feels the same in all of these things. It's like when somebody says, oh, I'll try to put my hand on my heart, my hand on belly, and listen to my body. I'll try. To me, I'll try is, no, I'm not doing it. Trying is exerting a lot of effort, putting a lot of effort in there and getting no results back. So we're not going to say, I don't know. We're just going to put our hand on our heart and we're going to feel into whatever is going on, because the answers are in our body, never in our head. Our head is there to make questions, to create resistance, to help us not grow. Really, that's the whole. It's there to keep us the same as we were. And we're not the same person that had diapers on when we were 1 or 9 months, however old we are when we have diapers. We're not the same person who had our first kiss or had our first job or had our first car accident. We keep evolving. Why would we try and stay the same? Because your head knows what it feels like to be safe there. It knows it's survived that, but it doesn't know you can survive anything else. Well, I got news. We're going to work on some interesting points of view around survival today. Resistance is usually a made-up excuse. It's another limiting belief that we manufacture to protect our limiting beliefs. I like to call them boys in the hood. Mary, you know that phrase. There is a belief here. This is the belief. And then our body goes around hiding it and putting a whole bunch of distractions around it, so we don't actually get to the core root. But with our hand on our heart, our hand on our belly, we start tuning in to the feelings and sensations and just breathe. When we say it's too hard or it's too difficult, I want you to counter with, is it really? What an interesting point of view. When did I decide that? I have to do that all the time with all the tech stuff that I'm learning right now. I keep wanting to say, this is too hard. I'm not doing it. And then I just stop and I go, well, wait a minute. It's just because I haven't done it before. And just because there's a bit of a learning curve doesn't mean I can't do it. It just means that I haven't done it before. There's no reference points in here. I get very confused, and confusion's okay. It means your brain is growing. It's getting new reference points. So I have a friend, some of you know, actually, maybe only Angela knows. Beth Jordan is an artist friend of mine in Columbus, Ohio. And she came up and taught one of the Transformational Tuesdays, and she does art. She does king size art. But for my daughter's birthday, she put it all together as a deck of cards that came in this beautiful box. And every single card is a what if question. And we tend to use what if questions against ourselves. What if he doesn't like me? What if I don't make the money? What if I get fired from my job? What if I am 70 and still single? Or me, it's like, what if I'm 70? I found someone I want to be with. I don't want to be with anybody. I'm not taking care of more people. When the kids move out and my mother's gone, it's just me. So these are all what if questions. So the what if card I pulled for today is, what if love, acceptance, and gratitude is at the heart of it all? What if my mood is contagious? And we know moods are contagious. If you walk into a room of angry people, you can almost explode and be angry yourself, because if you got any anger in there, it's going to vibrate and come up to the top. And this one I love. What if the reality is different than my story? We make stories about everything. What if reality isn't so complicated? What if we don't have to make a story? So everywhere we're resisting what's going on in our life right now, what if we just drop the resistance? And everybody's brain's going, how do I do that? I'll show you how. Hand on heart, hand on belly. Today we're going to learn something called, is everybody doing your cortices? Do we need to do our cortices here to begin? One hand behind the head, tapping on the top of your head, inhaling and exhaling. Let the exhale be noisy. Let it strum your vocal cords. Tapping on the heart complex. There's a nice yawn. Thank you, Mary. Inhale. Oh, good, Lori. Excellent. Oh, here's my turn. All right, we're shifting. Our central nervous system is coming back in and tapping on the belly for anybody who doesn't know cortices. Move your hand to the next position up in the head. We're just building bridges from one hemisphere to the other, and you're going to inhale and exhale. Oh, 2 or 3 big deep breaths or yawns. And you will heard me say it, yawning is the second best exercise you can give your body. Orgasm's the first, but we don't do that on Zoom. All right. Tap on your heart. And when you're ready, move to the enteric brain over the belly. And it doesn't matter if you tap on your belly button or you tap on the area under the belly button. Allow your intuition just to tap where it needs to be tapped. If you feel like tapping on your kidney points, go ahead and do that. You're still working with your central nervous system. You're getting the fluids moving around the body. Follow your intuition. So we went 2 positions here. There's one here. I'll let you girls continue. I've been up since 4 a.m. So some of these yawns might be fatigue. It's been a busy day. All right, and when you're ready, just let yourself sigh and feel that sigh move through the body. Cortices is one of those ways of balancing the brain to let go of resistance. And when there's no resistance, there simply is what is. And life can flow naturally without, I don't know, obstruction, is that a word? Without being stuck, without being uncomfortable, without pain. Doing cortices 10, 15, 20 times a day can relieve pain. It can relieve allergies. It can help balance out the whole body hologram here. And it creates amazing feelings of well-being. I'm going to take my glasses off. We're going to link these 2 bones to these, wrap it around the limbic system, and just let yourself inhale. Now open your elbows up. You don't want to be squished in like this. What you want when we do this is open up your lung cavity, your heart cavity. Just let yourself breathe and take a big deep breath. Relax your lower jaw. Inhale. And exhale. We're going to do switching procedure. We take these 2 fingers. Now watch me for a second. You're going to lay them flat on your eyes. My Reiki students know this. And just let the optic nerve start relaxing and breathe. Now, because we don't have 3 hands, you're going to take 1 hand away. It doesn't matter which. And you can pretend your thumb is another set of fingers. You're going to tap on the top of your head. And you're going to tap on your chest. And breathe. And you're going to tap on your belly. And breathe. Now I call this switching procedure. It is a body talk procedure. I'm going to do it again because I got another yawn coming. And this allows you to make your new state of relaxation your new normal instead of going back into stress response. So instead of starting your day from way up tall here in stress and going higher from there, you sort of bring the meter down to a place that's more neutral, and then we can stack more stresses on there. And then you do your cortices and you're switching again and we release it. Okay, has anybody been practicing their vagus nerve exercise? Okay, then we're gonna do some homework. You're just gonna get comfortable in your chair. You can lean back, however that is. You're not holding your arms up. They sort of anchor wherever it's comfortable here in the head so that you just feel that position. Good, Mary's ahead of the game here. Oh, and Paula's cold. So sometimes when we de-stress, our high blood pressure lowers and the body cools off. All right. So I want you to look straight ahead and just do 3 big deep breaths. And for fun, let's add thinking of something we're grateful for. Nice deep breath. In. And if your eyes want to close, it's because you're going back into somewhere your brain wants you to hide. Just keep your eyes open. And when you're ready, roll your eyes over to the right. Keep your chin in the same position, your head in the same position, but rolling your eyes to the right allows you to de-stress. It also shows us where our mind has put up curtains or blinkers or blinders or boogeyman to keep us from going there. So just breathe into it. Stressful things happen to us all the time. But when we have something like a car accident or a big shock, some sort of an injury, it gets locked in. I'm going to do one more just because I can. If you were at home without a time restraint right now, I'd say stay in this position until you start yawning. Oh, there I go. Right on cue. And then roll your eyes back to center. A couple of big deep breaths. Eyes open still. And when you're ready, roll them over to the left. The more you do this, the more you'll be able to see where your elbow positions are without straining your eyes. We're just allowing ourselves to move into where restrictions are or resistance is in our optic nerve and in the muscles. And allow the tension to recede. We're not telling it to go away, although it will. We're just working with the body to let this go. Another big deep breath. Drop your jaw. Wiggle your jaw if you want to. Notice if your brain makes any noises while you do that. And then come back up to center. And when you're ready, allow yourself to stretch. And again, not to injure ourselves, but just to allow the myofascial tissue to release. Or like Mary, fall off a chair. We could do the wave that way. All of us do it at the same time. All right, so I think most of us, almost everybody nowadays, it seems to be mainstream, knows how to do EFT, where we're tapping on different meridian points, tapping on the third eye, tapping on the eye, tapping under the eye, tapping here, tapping here. Tapping in all these different acupuncture points in our body to access the different meridians. It's a powerful way of letting emotions move through the body without hurting us. I love watching you guys yawn. Too bad. I'll have to put up a prize of some sort, get a webcam, and make sure that Angela wins it. So I can see her on some of these calls. All right. Today we're going to talk about the temporal tap. The temporal tap is an EFT procedure, and you just tap around the ear. And you tap around the ear. Now, when I first learned it, they said tapping around the left ear allows you to think of what you don't like and tap it out. And then tapping around the right ear, you think about what's positive and what you'd like to have and what you desire and bring that into your life. Tapping around the ear, and it could be something as simple as saying, oh, I'd like to have $100,000 year, but I'd like to have, I don't know, holidays throughout the year too. I just tap nowadays, both of them at the same time. I don't let my head get so involved. And actually, if you notice, we're tapping along the vagus nerve here. Everything always comes down to the vagus nerve. And you can bring that tapping right down into the underarms if you want, because that's the lymphatic system. That's where we flush everything through. Some people like to tap like this, okay? So however you want to do it, you're working on all the meridian lines when we tap our wrists like this. It's kind of cool. There's so many shortcuts we're learning about all this, and I think it's because so many people are learning these techniques. When I learned this, I think it was Laura was born in 92, so 1996 after my divorce, very few people did EFT tapping. They thought I was nuts. But it was the EFT tapping that made me want to learn acupuncture, that made me want to learn Chinese medicine. And then when I found body talk and it amalgamated everything, I was so excited. All right. I don't think we can have any resistance about anything, but let's test it for a minute. So what is it you don't want to have in your life? What is it you absolutely refuse to have? For me, it was always going bankrupt because my ex left me bankrupt. I didn't go bankrupt. I spent 20 years paying off his debt. I should have just declared bankruptcy like he did. Like, heck, it would have been over almost immediately. But I was so stubborn and so proud that was never going to happen to me. What else is never going to happen to you? Being homeless? Being evicted? I was homeless when I was 12. I survived. Interesting. So that's not a big thing, but it has played in my cellular memory many times, and it's been a driving force for me to always work harder, to always bring in more money, to work longer hours, to do what I do. Because sometimes these things that we resist are good motivators. The things that we're afraid of, instead of running towards something, I spent most of my life running away from something. Interesting. So just tune into your body for a second. What is it there that makes you feel so unsafe that you don't ever want to have happen to you? One of my clients, she said, being 70 and single. And that's why I brought it up at the very front of this session, because I thought, well, that's interesting. And what's so bad about that? Like, if you've been single all these years, why is 70 the cutoff? And then I asked her, well, what do you like about being single? Oh, that I have time for myself and I can go out with the girls and I go on holidays here and I don't have to. So why do you want to have a relationship by the time you're 70? Aren't they too old by them and you'll be taking care of them? And it's like, there are pros and cons of everything. Does everybody have a piece of paper and a pen in front of them? If you do, that's great. If you don't, that's all right too. Perfect. So just write down some of the things that you're resisting. What is it that you don't want to have happen to you? What is it you're avoiding? What is it that would be so horribly humiliating and disastrous and just awful? What is it you couldn't live through if it happened to you? What would just be the be and end all? Laura is going, what are you talking about? I've lived through all that shit and I'm still here. Okay, what is it you're afraid you're stuck in that will never change? For some people, it would be pain, chronic pain, or illness, or a bad marriage, or a horrible job. What else is there? Working 14-hour days and weekends. Not working, not having a job. That could be just as devastating. Or having anxiety, never thinking you're never going to get rid of your anxiety. Mind you, it's not your anxiety, it's just energy. So let's get rid of the word your, first of all. What else is there? Because resistance pops up in all kinds of interesting places, and we don't even recognize it as resistance. What shoulds have you got? Mary's going, no, my mind is blank. I got everything I want. Life is perfect. I know, you get to work on my sacrum and my ilium and my pelvic girdle will be unstable forever. I'll never feel comfortable in my body. Isn't that why you became a massage therapist and an osteopath? To be comfortable in your own body. It just so happens you have clients and horses that are clients and everything else too. What a coincidence. We're always working on things that are a reflection of us. Okay, what is it you think is preventing you from moving forward? Somebody or something you're blaming, some situation? Because whatever you do in one area of your life, you're doing it in all areas of your life. What is it that's preventing you from being happy? Get out of your heads, get into your heart and your body, and see if you notice any sensations, any aches and pains, or something that got triggered with some of these questions I asked. And maybe there is nothing. All right. So where would you like to be a year from now? What would you like your life to be like 3 years from now? What would you like your life to be like 10 years from now? Not necessarily goals, but how would you like to feel? And where are you not feeling that right now? Because yeah, there's magic in some of these questions. Sometimes we get so stuck on the hamster wheel, we just keep treading water, treading water, treading water, never getting forward and never going back. And that's okay to be there. It's perfectly all right, but it's kind of like a pendulum, you know, we swing here and we swing there, into negativity, into positivity, into negativity, into positivity. And if you're in the middle and in neutral and feeling that you're living the life you love, then fantastic. Where are you not being creative enough to feed your soul? What's missing in your life right now? What are you judging as a failure right now? Because sometimes we think we're in the worst spot we possibly can be, and then we realize, no, we've come through worse. That means it's kind of freeing. Now take a look at your list of what you've been resisting or what's coming up for you. And do you have to resist any of these? Or could you just let them go? Or could you be okay with some of these things? Because they're there now, so you can kind of be happy even though they're there now. And you can rest your attention on where you want to get. It's funny though, because sometimes we look at these things and we judge them as being bad. They're not good, they're not bad. They just temporarily are. Everything's temporary. Everything. We're constantly shifting, constantly changing. I remember when my ex left and emptied out my bank accounts and I lost the house, I resisted applying for welfare. I wasn't going to be one of those single moms. And it was so fascinating how I then was humbled enough because the resistance was pushing against that. And then I was in a car accident. So I couldn't go after the jobs I wanted to go for. I was on the way to an interview, actually. I was in the car accident. So maybe the universe said that wasn't the job I was supposed to get. But I couldn't stand up. I had whiplash. I couldn't cook for the kids. And then my fridge was empty and I had nothing there. And I had to swallow my pride and go to the welfare office and ask for help. And right away, they gave me a food basket of bread and some fruits and canned, I think it was Spam, that salty ham stuff, and a couple of things that tided us over for a couple of days. And the woman there called my doctor to get him to fill out the insurance form so I could get my insurance going, because I was in such a, you know how your head gets all muddled when you have a concussion and everything. And it was the best thing I ever did, but it took all of my nerve, all of my guts, all of everything that I could have. It was like sledding through tar trying to get to this office. And when I got there, I just broke down and cried because it was the most humiliating thing that I could ever have imagined myself to go through. And once it was done, it wasn't so bad. And I didn't have to stay there, but I needed the assistance. Was it my upbringing? What was it that made me resist so much getting help? Because it had nothing to do with welfare. It was about getting help, asking for help. It was something I was taught not to do. So I had to let go of resisting help. And I'm 67 years old and I'm still working on that. But it's stages. It's just stages. What we resist actually becomes a block for us to prevent us from doing anything else except pushing against the resistance. It stops us from seeing other opportunities. It stops us from knowing that there are other possibilities. Resistance is absolutely no relaxation. There goes yawn. Beautiful yawn. That was a great yawn. Sorry. So when we let go of resistance or just step back from it and say, what else is possible? Our whole body can relax because it's not fighting against anything. It's not pushing. It's just going, oh, here I am. What else is possible? How do I get to do this? We're not trying to control a situation. We're not running away from a situation. We're just here right now in this moment in time. Inhaling and exhaling. It's funny how humans will hold their breath in resistance when we're listening to something. So allow yourself to breathe. Relax your jaw. Massage your jaw. If you need to, do the temporal tap some more. Just keep doing the temporal tap because your head might resist what we're going through these days. And we don't have to escape resistance. We just have to notice it's there and back off a little bit. Because what if we were to resist? I resisted asking for help. What if I were to resist not asking for help? I'm just going to go back into resisting asking for help, resisting not asking for help. So look, pick one of the things on your list of the things you're resisting, and I want you to just resist the opposite for a second. Can you do that? Some of us resist success, but we're resisting failure at the same time. So we get kind of stuck. We don't even know what success would look like or feel like. And we don't necessarily know what failure would look like or feel like. So notice where we have these limiting decisions. So somewhere on your piece of paper, with either a different color or instead of writing, do it in block letters or something, write down what is something you'd really like to create, but you haven't yet. Might be moving to a new place, or I don't know, resigning and getting a new job, or going to a welfare office and asking for assistance. Or who was it recently didn't want to go to the doctor? When I finally convinced her to go to the doctor, she found out she had a prolapsed uterus. I was like, okay, you've been in so much pain. Can we move forward? Or resistance to get surgery. What is the resistance? What could go wrong? What could go right? What is it you don't want to achieve? Another question. Assuming you have that right now, this thing that you want to create but you don't have yet, just go into your body and what would it feel like to have that? What would it feel like to have achieved that, to be successful at it, to be there in that energy, space, and time? Because all of these different possibilities are like different dimensions. And we can get into the energy frequency of any one of these dimensions if we choose. Those two realities exist in your mind at the same time right now. I don't have it, but I could have it. Isn't that an interesting concept? They can coexist at the same time. So what is it that you would like to experience that you haven't experienced yet? It's a new flavor, same question, just a little bit different. And write down the reasons you can't have that. And breathe. Tell me when you've listed everything you can think of about why you can't have that or be that. And I'll just tap my cortices for the group, mixed with some EFT. Allowing all the energy to move through you. I was just going to do Reiki while you were doing that, but it felt really important to get the tapping going. All right. Are we done, or do we need to write a few more things down? Any other reasons, excuses, beliefs, fears, stories? Ooh. All right. When you're ready, I'm going to get you to stand up. And you're going to ask your body one by one, is that true? And put a check mark beside any that show up as true and cross off the ones that say that aren't true. If you want to share them, you can, but you don't have to. So body is the first one. Out of everything I know in the universe, is this true? Wiggles off to the side, some jiggles. Next one. We're just not judging. We're just being curious. Hey, body, is the next one true for me? Out of everything I know in the universe, is this the only possibility? And you want to go on to the next one. And just quickly go through your list. What about that next one? The one after that. Now you can do this exercise after the session too, and maybe they'll have busted out by then, but it's really, really curious. If you're ready to sit down, I'm going to sit down. That most of these reasons were made up in your head. Most of these reasons don't necessarily come from your experience or someone else's experience. They just get made up. You are talented enough, you are successful enough, you are sexy enough, can be happy enough, you can be all of these things to get this done, to receive this, to succeed at it, to achieve it, to experience it. Are any of these good reasons? Not as opposed to bad, but are they really, really good reasons, or are they just interesting? Can we change them? Can we notice what the unconscious pattern or belief is behind these? So, after everything you've written down and dumped so far, why are you resisting the current reality? And down hard, down on belly. Let's just get into the feelings. The head probably won't give you an answer because it has all those other reasons and excuses you just put down, but why are you resisting the current reality? If we're in flow, we don't have to fight anything. We can still be here and be happy. I think we determined that. Why is this current reality not good enough for you? Why is it not enough? Do any answers come up to those questions? Actually, I wonder if I can get the chat going. Oh, excuse me. And maybe you could just give me some of those. Share with me, because I'd love to know. How do you resist this current reality? What is it that you have to get to have it right now? Why is now not enough? Just type it in if you can think of something. Where are you not enough? Is it that if you're in business for yourself, you don't have enough clients? Or is it that, I don't know, you disagree with some of the politics or policies, or the pain is keeping you from experiencing more joy? Pain is resistance. Pain, even with severe damage from car accidents and things like this, once the nerves settle down, if we get the emotions out of there, the beliefs out of there, the body can calm down, and the resistance, once that leaves, the body can heal itself. Nobody's typing anything in the chat. That's okay. The lady from Sunday was resisting the condition of her roof. Interesting. Why would you resist that? The roof is leaking. Let's deal with it. I resisted Zoom and technology for years and years and years. I knew I could do remote sessions. I knew that it didn't interfere with energy work. And yet I didn't want to come into the 20th century for some reason and do all my client sessions on Zoom when it's possible to do that. Because there was a part of me, it's not that it didn't think it couldn't do that. It just said this wasn't how we do business. This wasn't, it's not even that it wasn't legitimate. And really, if I look at it, that we can do this on Zoom, that we can meet even when we've been in quarantine for 2 years, that we can talk, that we can chat, that we can see each other on camera is phenomenal. Isn't that amazing? Isn't that brilliant? They couldn't do this, 20 years ago? It was unheard of. They didn't think about it. Our ancestors certainly couldn't do it. Somebody would move away from town and you would write a letter and hope that it got to them wherever you thought their last address was and never hear from them again. Not know if they were alive or they were dead. How fortunate are we that we have airplanes that can take you from Canada over to Scotland or Canada over to Yugoslavia or Canada. It's brilliant. So what can you be grateful for in your life right now? We've got some grumpy faces here. For me, oh, thank you, Lori. I'll send you a check in the mail. When we see ourselves in this place and we're feeling ourselves uncomfortable in our own body, ooh, I got a stabbing something in here right now. Ask yourself, is it something you're resisting? Is it something you're fighting against? Is it a distraction that you're fighting against? Somebody just had an aha. Oh, the gorgeous hair there. So, you're right. Do you have to be shy? No, be proud of that gorgeous red hair. Ah. So sometimes, I think I've taught you over the years, if you feel a sensation, you ask, is it mine? We're not really asking, hey, body, is this mine or somebody else's? You're going, hey, this doesn't feel like me. But when we ask the question, 80 trillion cells get in that conversation and become observers and can eliminate what isn't yours. But sometimes we get distracted looking for a symptom or a sensation and making that the problem. Remember this? If this is my problem and I'm focusing on here, the further I get away from my problem, there will be tension and I will always snap back to the problem. So allow yourself to rest your attention instead on where would you like to be? Mary wants to be salsa dancing and being fluid and doing all kinds of beautiful, sexy dances. Paula, what is it that you would like to achieve? Where would you like to be?
Oh, I guess just figuring out what to get started business-wise.
Okay. Now, do you need to be in business? Or are you comfortable where you are? Yeah. Are you doing it to get money or are you doing it to feed your soul? Are you doing it? Why would you want to be in business? Both. Okay. So part of it is I want to have more money so that I can do more what? What do you do with your money?
Just the necessities of life plus the luxuries, travel. Yeah.
Cool. Cool. Mary, you work too hard. You'd like more time, I think.
Yeah, I would like to take a week off every month.
And why can't you do that? You're the one who runs your schedule.
Exactly. The more I would like to take a week off, the harder I work and the more I fill my schedule, and therefore I work 7 days a week.
Been there, done that.
It's like, oh, I can't. I'm working. I'm so busy. I'm needed.
So, but don't you need to recharge you too?
That's what I got you for.
Okay, your check's in the mail too. That's actually why I went, I think, into energy healing. It was for me and my rejuvenation and feeling recharged. And it just so happened that clients started coming in, and all of a sudden, who is luckier than me? You know, meditating over people and stuff all the time. Okay. When we resist not having time, we're not in our divine feminine, and we're not making ourselves a container to receive more. So quite often when we're in the doing, we're being too much in the masculine and we're out of balance there, which, since you're talking about your pelvic girdle and everything, I would think that's part of the reason that you're there. So you do need to take more time. Okay. You love being with your horses. Wouldn't you want to be with your horses more? And people are going to need you anyways. Can you be comfortable saying, I'm sorry, I'm booked? I'm sorry. I've had a lineup of people and I'm going, it's like, no, I cannot work Friday night. It's my daughter's birthday. No, I'm not working Saturday. I'm going to the movies. They finally opened up. And it's like, I almost wrote myself off and fit them in instead. And it was like, no, I can, according to my schedule, I can do a session Wednesday, or I can do one 2 weeks from now. And it's like, I had to be okay with it. I cannot be everything for everybody if I'm not being that for myself. And you're still young, but when you're 67, you'll understand. Maybe not, who knows? All right. What if you were a millionaire? Paula, if you were a millionaire, what would you do with all that money? Laurie, if you were a millionaire, what would you do with your money? Mary, what would you do with your money and your time? You were a millionaire, write some things down. What would you be able to do? And just for fun, while we're looking at being a millionaire and writing down everything we think we would like about that, I once did that exercise with being a princess. I wanted to be a princess. And then I started realizing that being a princess was just being a pawn and it would not be fun. So what responsibilities does a millionaire have that you wouldn't want to have? Sure, they get to go in the jets all the time, but they might be stuck in an airport, or I don't know, they could lose their luggage, or their staff could embezzle money from them. What else could go wrong with being a millionaire? Paula has this romantic look on her face, like nothing could go wrong. What would you not like about being a millionaire? Anything? Would you wear your health out or ruin your relationships if you had to work so hard to be a millionaire? Would you have to move? One of my big resistances, I am not packing another box. I am not leaving this house until I'm in a coffin and they carry me out. And I started realizing, yeah, and I'm not tidying up the big room there either, because I won't put all these papers in a box to take to the trash. So I had to reframe that. I'm willing to pack boxes again. All right, we're going to do an exercise here so that you can be happy having and not having, being and not being, noticing and not noticing. We're going to go back and forth until you get to a place where you're okay with both dimensions, both polarities, and realize that you can be happy no matter what situation you're in. Everybody want to play? Hand on heart, hand on belly. If you have any problems with it, let me know. I wrote out my meditation. Where did I put it? All right. I always think of this one as two big circles. You know how we draw a circle and they overlap, and that piece in the middle is the harmony where you want to be. This one over here is some kind of polarity, and this is the direct opposite. So I call this a double bubble meditation, or a transformational meditation. And I try to see, when I first wrote it out, it was like 27, 28 pages. And then I tried to shorten it, make it smaller, so it only takes up like 10 or 11 minutes of your time. But you'll get to the point where you can just flip the switch on both very easily and get to neutral. You can close your eyes, get comfortable in your chair. What I tried to point out is that resistance to anything is a double-edged sword. Sometimes it can get you moving in one direction or be a motivation, but then you only get pulled back to where you were before. It creates a magnetic field that we get stuck in. Literally, When you resist something, you give your power. It's like when I said, you have a limiting belief and I stick this pen in my fingers, I will either spend my whole life trying to defend it and say, this is my belief, this is who I am, it's just the way it is, or I will do everything I can to let go of that belief and try to get rid of it and try to prove that it's not true. Either way, I'm stuck on this, let's call it a maypole, and I'm just turning around and around in one direction or the other. So we want to stop running that hamster wheel. We want to get off that merry-go-round, because we don't want to give our power to anything else. We want to be empowered. We want to pull in our powers so that we can change direction anytime we want to be creators and create the life that we love. Just thinking of my friend Paula for a minute, she was wondering how to create herself a business or create herself a job or create herself some sort of new income. So there's a part of her that's in creator mode here. And I asked her, why do you want this? Some people go into business self-employment because they don't want a job. They don't want someone else in control of their income. Interesting point of view, but I created a job for myself, not a business that supported me. And now I'm looking at doing that, structuring it differently, because the power was in the energy of having a job and not wanting a job, but I created that energy of polarity for that job and got stuck in that merry-go-round. Thinking a moment of the lady who wanted a relationship before she was 70 and she had this cutoff date, but she's been single for so long. What is the dream of being in a relationship, or the fallacy or the non-reality of that she is holding on to? And if we could find that core, she can bust out of it and be okay with having a relationship or not having a relationship. And quite often, the only person we need a relationship with is ourselves. So the further we get away from using those two examples, not being single or not having a job, where's my elastic band? Here it is. If I pull this away, it's almost like we get far enough away from it and we stop being motivated to go after what we want. And then we call it self-sabotage. It's not self-sabotage. It's that we were using this hook as something to run away from, instead of looking at where we would like to be, the dream that we want to create, the life that we would love to live or that we would enjoy living, as the hook that pulls us forward into that. So the truth is, you don't have to not want something in order to have it. And that's how our society has set us up. We always think that I have to look at what the problem is. I have to look at what's wrong in order to decide what's right. And that has the total opposite effect. You don't need to not want something in order to not have it. Yes, I loved doing my holistic business. And yes, it was hard work. But I could also have loved staying in pharmaceutical if they hadn't laid me off 3 times, and if they had been willing to give me the hours that I needed to take care of my kids, or if I hadn't worn myself out and made myself so exhausted. It's funny, working 24 hours, 7 days a week in the business that I loved was so much more energizing than working weekends and all through the week at a job that I didn't feel fulfilled in. Same amount of effort, different reward. And all of these things coexist at the same time. It's like all those possibilities are set out in front of you. Door number 1, door number 2, door number 10, door number 15. Which door do you want to walk through? And then, oh, hello. So Deborah, we had a little bit of a workshop ahead, and now we're just in what I call the double bubble meditation. So get yourself settled, put your hand on your heart, your hand on your belly. What we're doing today is collapsing resistance, collapsing resentment, collapsing whatever it is that we are stuck moving away from, what sometimes we call a problem or a pain or an issue. And the way we're going to do that is to actually allow ourselves to want what it is we don't want to have happen. So I use the example of not wanting to ever go bankrupt or not wanting to be on welfare. I was running away from that, not towards being self-sufficient or living a life I love, but running away from what I don't want, which kept me in struggle for many, many, many years and in resistance. And this meditation, your mind is probably going to struggle against, because it's going to say to you that your thoughts create reality. And it's really, really cool. We have sort of been tuned into your thoughts create reality, but really your thoughts don't create reality. I mean, if our thoughts create a reality, then every horny 16-year-old boy out there would be having sex with every single girl and having a great time, and life would be chaotic because they wouldn't know what they want. So your thoughts create the energy, frequency that you are dancing in at that moment. And yes, new thoughts can change or elevate or collapse the energy field that you're in. I'm just going to see if I still have it up. My rainbow of emotions. There we go. You can take a look at that, or you can keep your eyes closed. We dance up and down the rainbow frequency. By the way, Paula in my upper left-hand corner is the one who designed this for me. So kudos, Paula. I have used it every day for the last, 6, 7, 8 years that we've had this. Thank you so much. I wanted a snakes and ladders board, and that was just too complicated. And she just said, Jessie, let's do a rainbow. And it worked. So I want your life to be a rainbow. I want you to know which frequencies you are in and allow yourself to go up and down without resisting any of them. Never saying, I will not be angry, or I will not feel shame, or I cannot feel guilty. Let all of the shoulds, the have tos, the ought tos, the cannots, let them go. They're just interesting points of view that will keep you stuck like glue. So don't be afraid that us in this moment thinking about wanting what you don't want is going to manifest and make it happen. Okay, it's not going to be that fast. It's not like that at all. In fact, what we're going to do is bust out all of the resistance so that you can be allowed to be the creator that you want to be. I was going to say if that's created reality, we'd have a very crazy reality, and oops, we do. So, your thoughts turned into these energy frequencies, or these emotional frequencies, these broad bands of, there's got to be another word, of vibration, thank you, is what creates into action the steps we take that create our reality. So it's totally fine to have a thought and know that it won't create reality that fast. Okay. If you have it repeatedly and you get stuck in that emotion, yeah, you're going to start manifesting things. Everything that's around us right now was manifested 6, 12 months ago, maybe 2 years ago, or further than that. So what we need to do is collapse the resistance, because when we resist, we just get stuck. So just allow yourself to pull back and see it a little bit differently. Desire to have a wonderful relationship, not because you want to be single, but because you can feel what it be feeling like to have a good relationship in your life. Allow yourself to desire to have your own self-employment or your own business or whatever, not because you need a job or need to make money, because you can feel what it would be like to be in that creative energy and to be doing and being what you want to do and how you want to be. Allow yourself, hand on heart, hand on belly, to just get into the feeling of being happy, being fine to be single, or be fine to be in a relationship, to be fine to be self-employed, or to be fine having a job, to be fine moving through whatever dis-ease or discomfort you have, but also in this moment, being okay with noticing that, yeah, your body doesn't feel 100% in ease. There is some pain, but pain means pay attention inwards now. So hand on heart, hand on belly, let yourself feel. Don't put a story on the feeling. Just be there, be present, and ask your body what it too would like to create with you. This is how we get to a place of something else not having power over us. And the more we do it, the easier it's going to get. Because like I said, your mind is going to try and interfere. It's going to try and take control. It's going to try and tell you that you can't do it this way. You're going to get by letting go of whatever we're letting go of. And it's like, thank you, mind. Come along for the ride. Let's see what else is possible. Take some big, deep breaths all the way down into your root chakra, all the way down into your genitals. Feel your butt cheeks on the chair. Feel your feet on the floor. Maybe the back of the chair against your back. Allow yourself to feel all these different sensations that are in your body. Notice where there's any tension and just breathe into that tension. And again, let it hum. We did the vagus nerve exercise when we started. Just allow yourself to release a sigh. Ah. And notice where it's vibrating in your body. Ah. Strum that harp. Allow yourself to exhale. Allow yourself to just go inside and feel into this moment of being here with yourself. And as you're here, I'd like you to bring up, to remember the things that you're resisting right now. Some of us were here early in the call and we could make a list. For those of you who can't, I'm sure you're going to think of something that you are resisting. What is it you don't want right now? What is you never want? You would rather die before you let that happen. Whatever that is, just notice it and think about it. And notice how much you don't want it. How big is that? Notice how this isn't what you'd like at all. And as you're noticing these things, which are completely true, could you also notice that there might be some things about this that you could be okay with, that are right about it? I mean, would it be all right if you went bankrupt? You'd get time off to recalibrate. You could probably take more care of yourself. There'd be no pressure about a job. Would it be okay to have a job if you liked it? Would it be okay if you had a great place to work and great colleagues to work with? That would be all right, wouldn't it? Would it be nice to be single? Would it be nice to be in a relationship? Would one be more nice than another? And if you say yes, notice it's fantasy that your mind just brought up, because you can be okay in either. Would it be nice to eat unhealthy food and pig out on junk food once in a while? Might be. Might be okay to feel like that. Or are you resisting and saying, oh, no, that's never, never, never acceptable? Notice the strength of that, how it owns you. Just breathe into that. Notice those shoulds and shouldn'ts. They were made up. They're there to control you. You get to have choice all the time. So notice where you're not giving yourself any choice. Notice where you were resisting having possibilities and other opportunities. Because what I want to do is poke some holes in this so that you can notice a couple of things. We're not going to say it's going to happen. I just want you to notice what else is out there. Stretch your imagination. Feel good about doing that. Would it be all right to just rest your attention and focus on some of the things that could be good about what you thought would never be good? Can you do that? Just focus on some things about this thing you would never do that might be all right. Even if it's going to push you. Even if it means you won't be seeing your kids enough, or I don't know, might not have enough money. Allow yourself to just receive. Just be okay with where you are in your body right now. Yeah, maybe you can trust some people. Maybe you could go and ask for a loan. I was so adamant that I would keep my 25-year-old Toyota going that she had to let me know that she wanted to retire. Her body was beautiful. I had taken really good care of her. Her motor was amazing, but she was starting to get some funny leaks that they couldn't repair. And one day I said to her, "You're going to have to show me how to get a new car, because I am not asking anybody for a car loan. I am not taking on any extra monthly payments." And the next day I had a car accident and she was totaled. And I had to be okay with going to a dealership and seeing if I was eligible for a loan. And it took me 2 hours of working through that and sometimes doing this meditation to get to either side of that until I didn't care. And I just walked in the next day. And nobody was more surprised than me when I was authorized to get a loan on my beautiful, hot, sexy Jeep. And again, remember, when we're focusing on what else is possible and what we don't want to have happen, what might be all right with that situation, we're not making it come true. We're just looking for where that internal tension is. And I want everybody to do that tapping around the ears again, down the vagus nerve. Just allow all of that tension, that stress to move around. For those of you who weren't on the call earlier, it's called the temporal tap. It's an EFT technique. And you just move it all the way down your neck and under your arms. And you can do the other side around the ear, which leads through the vagus nerve, down the neck and under the arms. If you want, you can tap on your arms. That works on different acupuncture areas too, different organs. Or you can tap on your wrists. If you need it, tap behind your knees or tap on your hips. Allow your body to tell you where she needs some jiggling and wiggling to let go of the tension you've been holding on to for years and years and years. Just let that energy rise and shift. If you need to stand up and move, go ahead and do it. Your body's the one that's holding these memories in her DNA, these stories, these rules and bullshit rules. Let her move it out as energy. Doesn't have to go through the head. What about people who want to make more money with MLM and they think how much freedom they're going to have and how much free time they're going to have and how they can, I don't know, be self-employed, and then they find out how much work is involved in it. It's not wrong on either end. Hold on to the dream and put in the effort. Allow yourself not to try, because that means putting effort without result, but allowing yourself to take the steps necessary to make it happen. And you can always notice the things about it that don't work out. Just breathe. Don't get stuck in the old story if you've tried it and it didn't work for you. If there's a couple of things popping into your mind, that's okay. Memory's good. Let it be popcorn and let it just come out. And as you notice some of these things that would be all right, just rest your attention there. Notice what would be okay about this. This thing that you've been resisting, what else would be okay about it? What good things come out of that? We've all had disasters and chaos happen to us that turned out later, looking in hindsight, to be the best thing that could ever have happened. So allow yourself to just feel uncomfortable. Notice where your body feels uncomfortable. Notice the energy that's there. And let it wiggle out, shake out, breathe it out. Sigh it out, hum it out. And now, just for fun, I want you to switch to the thing that you truly desire, to the lifestyle you truly desire, to what would make you infinitely happy if you had that. We're going to rest our attention there. Allow yourself to change your lens, put on a new pair of glasses, your rose-colored glasses, if that's what you want to do. And just Notice the opposite side of the coin. You want to have a successful business. You want to have a great relationship. You want to spend lots more time with your kids or your friends or your colleagues, or you want to feel healthy. You want to feel in total flow with your body. You want to be able to walk around easily or go salsa dancing. You want to be able to have 10 horses to ride on. You want to have a big, giant property where you have all the other osteopaths and chiropractors and healing professionals come from the world. Whatever it is, whatever turns you on right now, allow yourself to get turned on. Allow yourself to get really excited. I want you to be able to do cartwheels and somersaults and just feel free again, free to dream. What was that Campbell Soup commercial? Good. Let yourself go to this place. And as you truly desire this, I'd like you to notice a couple of things that might be a little less than positive. Oh, yeah. It'll be great to make extra money and travel the world, but like I said before, airports aren't that great. I've been stuck there overnight, sleeping on floors and benches. I want you to notice a couple of things that aren't so good about what it is you desire. What do you think you might lose if you get what you desire? What could go wrong? On one hand, you've got all this positive dreaming, and on the other hand, you might not have as much free time as you thought. Or you might have to learn new things. What else could possibly be uncomfortable about it? Just notice some things that aren't so super positive, so super bright and cheerful. All the fears that want to come up from your mind that tell you, oh, no, you can't do that. You can't want that. No, that's not safe. Where do you feel that in your body? For me, all of a sudden, surprisingly, it's in my lower back. Breathe into that and let it go. And remember, any part of your mind that is telling you that you're going to create this reality just because you're thinking about it once, jiggle it out, wiggle it out, do the temporal tap. Like I said at the beginning of this session, when I was taught the temporal tap, we believed that if you tapped on the left-hand side, you got rid of everything you didn't want. And if you tapped on the right-hand side, you tapped in what you do want. Nowadays, I just tap both. I just tap away. It feels good to tap. Letting all the atoms and molecules and everything just jiggle and wiggle and do what they're doing. Setting them free, letting go of the glue, the Mobius strips, the quantum particulates, anywhere that it was stuck. So, what do you think about all these positives? And what do you think about all those negatives? Let's go back again. What do you think about all those positives? By the way, you're doing great. And what do you think about all those negatives? Any resistance in there again? Focus on those negatives again for a second. Just focus on what you don't want to create. Yeah. Everything that you've been resisting. And look at everything that's involved there. And now look at some of those positives that came up when we were looking at the negatives. Interesting. And for a moment, I want you to stand in the reality of that thing that you said you couldn't possibly do, that you would never do. And just let yourself be okay with being there. Like I said, I was homeless when I was 12. I survived. Here I am. I was homeless again when my ex emptied my bank accounts and everything. And I survived, and I'm here again. I remember being so sick, not being able to move, not being able to take care of myself. It was all temporary. Nothing lasts forever. Not the negative, not the positive. We're always evolving, always shifting. Molecules are always changing. Our energy frequency bands are always modulating. Notice what would be all right about what you thought would be devastating. That thing you said you would never want to manifest, that you would never desire. And notice that it really wouldn't be that bad. You would survive it. You could. I want you to get to this place where you say, I could live like that. And look at your present, all the things you didn't like about your present, where you are now, and realize that you are living like this. You can be perfectly happy here. It doesn't mean it won't change. It doesn't mean that you won't go after what you desire. It's just we don't have to be motivated by fear or resisting something. We get to be in this place and still look forward to our soul evolving into that new place. What would it feel like to get out of the situation you're in right now without resisting it? Just noticing that, I don't belong in this energy field anymore. Let's move forward a little bit to over here. How would you feel over here, living a life you love, or living steps closer to the life you love? And I want you to just put yourself into that situation of what you do truly desire. What would it feel like to have the job that was emotionally and financially satisfying to you, or have more free time in this job of your dream? Because at one time, where you are now is something you were envisioning or dreaming, or you wouldn't be there now. Notice how you feel. There's positives and negatives in this thing that you desire as well. And I want you to hop back and forth, kind of like the quantum jumping exercise we did. Just go from one to the other. Notice what it's like to be in the positive, but the negative things that are there in the positive, and look at where you are now and where you've been and what you didn't like about it. But there's some positive things about that too. No strong feelings. I want you to get to neutral. I want you to get to this feeling of being imperturbable, right in the center of the rainbow. That neutral ground where it's okay to be just you. Notice how it feels to not have the pressure of one side or another. I'm not saying this is negative, that's positive. I shouldn't be here, I should be there. There's no shoulds. Just notice any tension in your body right now, just breathe into it and give it permission to let go of any of the viewpoints it's been holding on to. Again, notice what you don't want to create and just notice how it feels. And if it feels not too bad right now. And notice what you do want to create. All the cool things you still want to do and create. And allow yourself to feel the freedom of both. The freedom to look after yourself in a relationship, out of a relationship, looking after yourself with the business, without a business. Allowing yourself to let go of the stress. We create our stress in our own minds. Remember I said it's like walking, we have all these possibilities, hundreds of doors in front of us, and we're standing here not doing anything because we want to know which one is the right one to choose. Open one, walk through it. If you don't like it, we change direction, open another door, walk through it. The phrase that comes to mind is we live with the consequences. It sounds so negative. It's not about consequences. It's just that we rise to a different energy level each time. There's no right door to move through. There are just all these opportunities, and you get to say, I choose this or I choose that. I choose this. I don't choose it anymore. I'm going to choose something else. Allow yourself to choose. Just choose. Because all of these choices are here in this reality, all at once. It's not somewhere in the future. It's about raising our energy vibration to be in harmony with it, to be in balance with it, to have it here. I remember my friend Mary 5 years ago wanting to be an osteopath. She was an RMT. She went to school and her dream is still to be an osteopath for horses. And oh my God, she's living her dream. So Mary, what is your new dream? Yeah, you're moving from Guelph over to Barrie, maybe, or somewhere, some big property out here. Hasn't shown up yet. But as you get into alignment with that dream, it is going to show up. The universe will make all these things happen for you. It doesn't matter which door you choose one. Start walking towards it. And allow yourself to be okay with not having it at this moment. What would it be like to choose to want it and not want it at the same time? Go ahead, just feel that. Yes, your mind is going to be totally confused because it thinks it has to be one or the other. You get to have all of it. You get to have all of it. Experience what it is you didn't want to desire and experience what it is you do want to desire. And notice how it feels. In both circumstances, there are positives and negatives. The truth is, it doesn't matter which one you go to, you're still taking yourself. Your outside experiences do not have to dictate how you feel or what your mood is. I need to say that again. Just breathe, pull the air into your body, and let go of the confusion. You do not have to let outside experiences dictate how you feel. Every time you say it shouldn't be that way, really, but it is. Let go of the should. Notice where you are, notice how you're feeling. Allow yourself to choose the reality you want to move towards. Choose it from a place of where you could have the opposite and it wouldn't matter. Choose it from a place where you're not trying, you're just choosing. You're not trying to run away from the past or some horrible situation. You're just choosing it because you're choosing it. Because it makes your soul sing right now in this moment to choose it, to choose the dream of it, to choose the image of it, to choose the feeling of it. And when you get there, you may choose something else. Or partway there, you may choose something else. It might just be the target that you direct yourself towards to get to wherever it is your soul's mission has set up for you. They're all fine. All these options are fine. Can you be fine with all of these options right now, right here in this moment? They're all livable. Yeah. They are all livable. They're all doable. Just choose one that you want right now. And tell me how it feels to imagine living that life. Allow yourself to just be here. What's it like? What things do you have? Who do you have? What do you do? How does it feel to make this choice? And if you don't like it, it doesn't mean it's the wrong choice. It's just you're tasting it. You're tasting the energy. Decide it. Pick one, that it's the one you're going to have from all of the available options in this moment. And if you've decided, just start tapping on your heart. Allow yourself to see yourself living in this experience through your own eyes, in your own imagination. And allow yourself to put a smile on your face right now. Did you know that we don't smile because we're happy? We get happy when we smile. It's physiologically impossible to be unhappy if you're smiling. Fascinating. So make the decision. Where are you going to be 3 months from now? Where do you want to be 6 months from now? Where do you want to be 6 years from now? You get to change your plans all the time as you learn new things and experience new things and see what surrounding circumstances are going on. Just tap on your heart, tap on your thymus. Allow this decision to thrive, to walk towards your dreams. Allow it to tap in. Allow yourself to feel happy because you know your heart never steers you wrong. If you feel like it, tap on your belly with the other hand or with both hands. Allow your gut to get into this, your enteric brain, which is knows what's going on in your environment. Tap on the top of your head, getting your brain involved with the other two brains. Take those big, deep, succulent breaths and just breathe in your dreams. Suck them in, slurp them in. And then tap on the temporal tap or do your EFT tapping, whichever your intuition says is right for you in this moment. And if you can, I'd like you to do this exercise every day, even if you trim it down to 5 minutes or 1 minute. Notice where you are, what you're not liking about the situation, what you would rather have it like, and be okay with both. Just be okay with both. Allow yourself, when you're ready, to open your eyes and feel great. Allow yourself to realize you have just made a decision and you're creating it for creation's sake, not because it's right, not because you're trying to avoid the wrong. You're just creating it because it feels good in this moment. And allow yourself to get started on the rest of your day. Have an absolutely amazing day. Hey, Shalina, how are you? So, shouldn't take too long to download. Where I'm running into problems with downloading this is getting it onto YouTube because it can take twice the time that it does from here. But Zoom deletes a lot of the links after 30 days. So I don't want this to disappear. I want you to be able to have it at your fingertips all the time. I'd like you to use the exercises I give you every week for that whole week if you can fit it into your schedule. All right, do it when you're falling asleep or start playing it when you're waking up in the morning. There's no right, there's no wrong, but we have to change the programming that happened in our brain. Most of us are, some of us are close to our 40s or over. So we've got a lot of conditioning to just dematerialize, to unhook from. Allow yourself to do that. All right. We'll see you next week for those who can make it, or you'll get the replay. Love you all. Good night. Mwah.